Natalie, I'll say hi real quick. Sorry I missed it and I was coming in late.
Okay.
Nice to meet everyone. My name's Amy Bertucci. I just put a little link in the chat just to let you know the nonprofit I work for. So I'm super excited to meet you all on this call.
Okay, Emily, what is your last name? Your first meeting?
Right, my last name is Musinski. I'll put it in here, it's a little long. My name is Emily, this is my first meeting. I'm also a librarian, just like Jill.
All right, Opa?
Hi, my name's Opa. I was trained in July along with a lot of other people, and I've been with Zero Waste Warriors since the beginning.
And Madeline?
Hi everyone, I'm Madeline Stanton, a new member to Climate Reality Chicago since October, joined Zero Waste Warriors since then, and I'm currently leading the litter pickup challenge for the Zero Waste Warriors on the Literati app. We're doing really well so far. I think we have over 20 participants and over 50 pieces of litter picked up. Our goal is 1,000 pieces by the end of the year. So thought I'd throw that in there. Really excited to see this larger group this evening and continue to meet everyone.
And
did you say it was an app? Would you mind sharing that in the chat?
Oh,
yes.
Casey, you're just in time to do your introduction.
Okay, my dog is barking in the background, so sorry. Hi, my name's Casey, and I think I joined in the summer, maybe June or July. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been focused on this presentation I was going to do at my local yoga studio. It's kind of shifted around because of COVID and trying to do it in person and that not working out and things closing down again and everything. So been trying to get that off the ground. That's been my main focus since I started, and that is still set for December, so hoping that will happen. So yeah.
Right. So Christy and Maya, I just want to say that most of these girls have been with the organization, the committee, since the very beginning, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about them, like stepping up to the plate, getting things done last minute, and like everyone has a niche. So with that, if you guys want to get started and talk about dispatch.
Yeah, Maya, do you want to go ahead and just talk a little bit about the background and where we are?
Sure. Yeah, be happy to. My co-founder, Lindsay, our CEO, really, this kind of stemmed from when she moved to Hawaii and she started the Ocean Friendly Restaurant program through Surfrider. One of the things that she was trying to do is convert restaurants over to more sustainable practices, and realized that there really wasn't, and it was all kinds of different shades of bad. Sometimes it's better bad, but still, single use. She's also an avid surfer. I'm a huge outdoors person and love the beach. And one thing that kind of was an aha moment for her was when she hiked to go to a remote beach and thought there was rainbow colored sand and it was all microplastics. And so I think one of the misconceptions that she realized, and that I realized too later on, is that it's a supply issue. It's not a littering issue. Those microplastics are being kind of dumped into the ocean and then resurfacing all over the world. So she went back to school at Berkeley to start a reusable company. She felt like it made a lot of sense to go to Berkeley, just in general, given the history and nature of climate action out of California. But that's when I met her. I was the restaurant partnerships lead at the West Coast at Caviar. We were then acquired by DoorDash, and that changed and shifted my role pretty significantly. But I had kind of come on as just an advisory role from a restaurant perspective, as well as from a third-party delivery perspective. My vantage point from that really set the fire under my butt from an environmental standpoint, because the sheer number of single-use containers that are used every day is astronomical, and it's just in delivery and takeout. And so I found myself wanting to help her more and more. We started actually in the downtown lunch crowd, and it was awesome. We were seeing more and more companies that had green and sustainability goals that were trying to curb their waste, development, and their number one pain point and their number one creator of waste was lunchtime takeout. And so we found ourselves kind of in this really great sweet spot of doing operations logistics downtown, where we were dropping off containers to restaurants around different companies. And then those employees were opting in for reusables at their lunch place and then dropping them back off in what we call the fourth bin at their companies. And so we were going every day to collect those containers, dishwashing, sanitizing, and then bringing them back to the restaurants. In March, all of our progress came kind of to a screeching halt. But it didn't deter our team. And in fact, we found that over the course of the pandemic, we're seeing about 250 to 300% increase in single-use containers. So it actually just, in our minds, accelerated the urgency to find a better solution. We knew we wanted to figure out at-home collection with our direct-to-consumer model. We just didn't know that it was going to happen as quickly as it has this year. So this summer we spent doing a ton of different pilots, figuring out the actual logistics around at-home collection. It mirrors, what's cool about it, mirrors curbside recycling. So people are used to putting out their recycling on a specific day and someone comes and collects it. And so for us, as dispatch, we do the same thing. We tell you what your reusables day is and we come and collect on that day. We dishwash, we sanitize, and then we bring back the containers to our restaurant partners. We're excited because, so while the pandemic has put a huge wrench in our initial plans, what's exciting about it is that we now have kind of the full system figured out. We're still in our infancy when it comes to, we just launched last October. And so we are growing quickly and trying to fundraise right now in order to accelerate our growth in the Bay Area, and then quickly expand to our top 3 markets, Chicago being one of them. We know that there's a big demand. We know that y'all have an incredible food scene and are ripe for implementing a system like this. And so we know that there are some key pieces whenever we want to launch in a new area and a new geography. And so that's kind of one of the things that we're working on right now, is putting in those lanes of focus to figure out how we can get the people that are boots on the ground in Chicago to help us get excitement and get people understanding as well as motivated to get us there faster. So I'll kind of leave it at that, because I think that there usually are a lot of questions about like how we operate and
I do have a lot of questions, so
yeah,
but we're all excited to help get the word out. So
great.
I'll wait till the end with the questions.
No, that's it. I mean, that's
Okay.
where we're at right now. So I just brought us to today.
I do just want to add one thing too. On Wednesday, or next Wednesday, we're launching the first restaurant that's going 100% reusable takeaway containers. So, which is a big deal. So everybody is going to be at this restaurant will receive everything in reusable containers.
So San Francisco?
There's no alternative.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're really excited about that.
So I know it costs $20 per person to sign up. Is there any kind of like sliding scale? Like if I only do takeout, once or twice a month, is there, you guys looking at any kind of like per order?
Yeah. So the membership is really for people that they're ordering out a few times a week and it makes sense, or they have a family. And so we price it so it's an a la carte option as well. So each menu item has a price associated with it too. So you actually don't need to have a membership in order to participate. We're also developing, we won a grant to roll out a program in the city of Alameda here in the East Bay. And so we're doing student memberships, and we're rolling up low to no income memberships that are funded by the community memberships. So $1 of each membership goes to a community fund, as well as a portion of this grant to fund. So we don't ever want the price to be the reason why people can't afford a better option. And so we're building all of those.
The price was on the petition, so that's why.
Got it. Yeah. And I think, there's a lot of nuance when it comes, we're still also testing a lot of that price sensitivity. We have some, like a gold membership that will come every week. We have a membership model that we're testing out where you bring your containers back. That's really like, we're thinking it's going to probably be around $10 a month, but we're still testing those out. So I think that if it makes it a little bit easier, we can remove that pricing. Because if that's like a deterrent, then I wouldn't want people
for like getting the petition signed that, it just brings up questions, that it's either $20 or not at all.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that's great feedback. And Christy, maybe we take a look at revising some of that.
Yeah.
And explaining a little bit more around that.
For sure. I can do that. I actually just put the petition in the chat. And, we haven't done a huge amount of push. And also, we should mention that we are also working with Jacqueline Wagner from the Shed. She is in charge of conservation programs in Chicago and beyond for the Shed. And she's been helping circulate the petition as well. But I could definitely, we don't want anybody to be confused. So we can definitely take that $20 out, especially since, we do have an a la carte option.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many restaurants do you have signed up in San Francisco so far?
We have 15. We have a waiting list of about 20 restaurants right now. We were inventory constrained for a while. It's been a challenge to source the containers. Just the pandemic has made it a little bit difficult with manufacturers and warehouse staff operating on limited capacity.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to be at about 50 restaurants by the end of Q1 in the Bay Area.
Okay. Is there any other, this is not my question, okay? So somebody else gave this to me. Incentive other than just being a great citizen who cares about the planet, is there anything else a consumer would gain by using this service?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that we frequently get the feedback on is it's a better dining experience. Getting your takeout, also it arrives hot more often than not. One of our pizza partners, that's one of the things that when it's in a cardboard box, it cools pretty quickly. Ours stays warm and it's in a thermal bag. And so that is something that's nicer, especially when you're getting takeout or delivery. Plastic isn't that much. It's not difficult to be better than plastic, to eat out of plastic. And our containers are stainless steel and silicone. And so we're frequently told it's an elevated dining experience, and it's better. I know that there are also a lot of health concerns when it comes to eating out of certain container types. I mean, PFAS and obviously microplastics that are, when you have hot food that's served in a plastic container, that's not good for you health-wise. And so I think from a health benefit standpoint, that's also better.
Do the restaurants have to pay anything to sign in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we try to be parity with their current costs. So it's an easy switch for them.
Okay.
especially given the pandemic, as well as, you know, a lot of our restaurants are closing. So we've been pretty relaxed when it comes to working with them on that side of the business.
All right, those were all my questions. You guys want to ask any questions?
I have some. Have you guys heard of Deliver Zero out of New York? And if so, how is your business model different than theirs?
Yeah, I would say the materials that we use are different. I believe they use plastic. I think we're the only ones that are using non-plastic. They also rely on the consumer. I believe they rely on the restaurants to wash their own containers, and that's not something that we do. We do all the dishwashing and sanitization in-house.
Do you guys do the delivering, or do the restaurants still have their own?
Oh yes, that's the other thing. We don't do any of the delivering. So we're integrated with DoorDash for one restaurant, and now we're looking to roll out to 2 additional restaurants. We also have 4 restaurants that do their own delivery that people can order our containers through, and then takeout. Obviously, we're across the board available in takeout, but we don't do any of the delivering, just the reverse logistics.
Okay, nice.
Have like DoorDash or Grubhub expressed interest in like buying you guys? I mean, I know it's early, but it just seems like it would like integrate really well with their whole thing they have going on.
Yeah, I would say so. We've had conversations with Uber Eats and DoorDash. I would say it's not a focus. This isn't a focus of theirs. The reverse logistics, maybe the collection could be an interesting piece. And that's honestly something that we don't necessarily need to own on our end. But the sorting, inventory management, dishwashing, and all of that isn't really in their wheelhouse, as well as they have expressed zero interest in wanting to venture into that piece. And that is arguably actually the most complex piece. Really sophisticated inventory management requires a decent amount of like that. That's its own business right there. There are obviously companies that are incredibly sophisticated there at doing that. And so, yeah, you don't see it being too much of a, like something that they would necessarily want to be doing, but they want to offer it to their customers because I believe see the value in this customer segment, in the growing customer segment of people that care about the planet and care about what they're want to spend their money smart in a smart way.
But just to clarify, it has to be the restaurant that signs on, not like DoorDash offering it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we partner with the restaurants.
Okay.
But DoorDash will facilitate like meetings with their restaurant partners with us.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I have one quick one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I had a question. It was about your team. I may have missed it, but who in Chicago is going to be, doing this eventually? Is this something you already have planned, or is this still a dream?
Christy and I would move there. So probably temporarily. But one of the things that we're working on with a potential investor is making sure that we're hiring locally, because this is going to create a decent amount of jobs for people. It's a lot of manual labor, which is great, but we would like to hire locally. So it would be us kind of getting everything set up and hiring the right team, but it would be kind of self-sufficient when it comes to how we operate. It's all a local ops.
Cool. I do have a second part to my question. It's more related to expanding beyond like the Chicago border. The city is huge. There's going to be so many opportunities. I live in the suburbs, and so I'm just really trying to, obviously support waste reduction, and the idea of this is an amazing model. But I have spent years creating a lot of energy in the community I live, and I wonder if you've talked to people who have been able to say this would be a good place. I'm not saying that's my community in particular at this time, but do you see what there may be opportunities outside of Chicago that you would like to be, expanding to?
Yeah,
And that's one of the things
actually,
that we're building and testing right now in the Bay Area. We have a ton of smaller communities that are just adjacent to to San Francisco, and I live in Oakland, just across the bridge. One of the things we're testing right now is the city of Alameda, which is a really insulated small community. It's probably about 30,000 people. It has a really small downtown area. There's probably like 24 restaurants total. But we're basically kind of seeing what that model looks like to build out that density within a community, because it's still drivable to our facility to do collections, to do dishwashing. So we're building out kind of that hub and spoke model here, where we can have a centralized dishwashing and sorting facility, but it could, as long as it's driving distance, it can be, we can expand to any community where there's a density of community members that are willing to pay for the service, as well as restaurants that are willing to sign on. And that's also what we're kind of understanding now too, is what does that density look like, and what does that need to what does that emulate in a different size community so that it works from day one.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, actually,
We're doing a lot of like test and learn here, so that when we come to a city like Chicago, we'll say with confidence that, hey, this is what works in Chicago or in like a densely populated area, but ideally we would expand pretty quickly to other communities or in the surrounding areas.
Right.
yeah, one of the we have another contact we're working with, and she actually recommended we maybe work with Evanston. They thought that might be a good area to start in. I don't know if what you guys think about that, but
And I would just suggest like checking out the hubs for the environmental groups. Evanston is very, looped in, but like Go Green, Illinois. And there you have like a point person in all the communities that have been working on advocacy for the last 10 years or more, some of them. So that's just a suggestion, just to be able to see that type of community response would be good, probably where there's already a lot of advocacy happening.
okay, cool.
I love that. We also know that for us, at least, we're accelerating the expansion for any communities that are passing policy that is accelerating reuse. So Alameda is one of them that is now fining restaurants that are using single-use plastic. They aren't enforcing it during the pandemic, but they will start doing it in the new year. And so they've already passed a policy on it. And so for us, it's getting that tailwind of policy allows for us to kind of fast track our growth because we already know that the community is behind it, as well as the restaurants kind of gearing up for a change.
Agree. Thank you.
Okay, so then how can we as a committee help you guys?
That's a great question. So we kind of have these, as we're, obviously testing and learning and building out here, we kind of have these buckets of these areas of focus that we know will be essential to create a successful program anywhere else geographically that we expand to. And so one of the things that Christy and I have been working on is kind of identifying those buckets of those areas of focus. And then having people hand raise and be like, hey, I want to help move this piece along. I want to help find the policymakers in our community, in our local government. And I want to set up meetings to talk about what's going to be, what do people care about? What are people going to be voting on? Or what legislation can we start to work on? The cool thing about dispatch goods is that we're part of those conversations here in California. Because we're one of the few reusable systems. And so we do have a lot of experience writing that and co-authoring some of those things. So that's like one piece. The marketing, the getting people pre-signed up, the education piece, that's all a really essential part. I think getting people comfortable with reverse logistics as well as a reusable system is going to be a larger lift, but we'll see the fruits of that labor as soon as we, plop down, because if people understand and are excited about it, day one, you'll have people that will adopt it. Restaurants, one of the exciting meetings that we had was with the Let Us Entertain You group, and they have 130 restaurants. So for us, that's an amazing starting point from a restaurant perspective. Also, our relationship with DoorDash, obviously they're everywhere, so we can. We're hoping that wherever we geographically expand to, that relationship obviously helps that piece of it too. And then just getting the local environmental organizations kind of aligned, as well as doing talks like this and kind of giving people some more information about us. But also getting people that, again, are hand raisers that are saying like, hey, I want to work on this. We're starting a monthly meeting to get this, having regular check-ins as well as action items to kind of move everything forward to help us get to you faster. The other big piece, two other big pieces that we're looking to kind of implement are B2B partners from day one. So businesses that are looking to have dispatch goods memberships for their employees as a perk. We see that working extremely well here. Obviously, that's on pause, but we've actually picked up those conversations recently, and we're starting as early as Q1 with a limited people back in the office. So we'll be starting those, but it's really helpful to have big businesses that employ lots of people that are excited, that have sustainability goals and that are excited to partner with us from a larger level, as well as investors. So we have a handful of investors that are based in Chicago that are looking to invest in sustainable programs in Chicago. But if you have any connections within the sustainability and the investment venture capital community, that's obviously something that will be very helpful for us. Again, obviously it costs a decent amount for us to expand. Inventory is one of our big ones, but we also want to make sure that we're paying people, the employees that we're hiring in locally. So,
yeah, I put the petition in the chat, and yeah, getting that circulated as much as possible. I'm going to edit that, and but it's fine. You can still circulate it in the time being. But and I'm sorry, it does look like it's from like the mid 90s, but we're working on updating that. But yeah, circulating that as much as possible. And
but I would say that if you're interested in dedicating a once a month meeting with us, as well as, I'd probably say like 5 to 10 hours a month on this type of project. I'll drop Chrissy's in my email in the chat. We were also on I don't know if we were on the invite, but you can email us and we'll get you looped into our monthly meetings that we're starting in January.
That would be awesome.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, like, for social media, feel free to tag the Zero Waste Warrior handles, and then we'll reshare your information in our stories or wherever. So
I also I can send a lovely, I made a beautiful Instagram post I can share with you.
Incredible.
That's specific to Chicago.
I agree with all of Naperville. I mean, yes.
For the restaurants that you guys have been working with, have there been like any pain points so far? Like from their perspective?
I think we've addressed some of the pain points. One of the things that the nestability of our containers, and we worked on that. And we have like a V2 of our containers. I would say the biggest thing that we would love to invest in at some point next year is a reusable pizza container. We have one for square pie guys, but that's because they have a square pie. The traditional round pie it's such a waste pain point across the board, and we use so many trees just to make pizza boxes every year, that I want to accelerate that. I know we have a design. We just need it's going to cost a decent amount to actually manufacture it. So
Something else at the restaurants where that we've really had to work on is the spacing for the containers. We've had to really work hard on finding containers that nest well, that don't take as much room up in their store.
But I would say in general, it really had, like, restaurants have loved working with us. We're bringing them incremental business of, environmentally minded people. They feel really good about putting their food in sustainable packaging. They also get sustainability reports that they're proud of, and that they see how much waste they're diverting directly from their restaurant. They don't like putting their stuff in single use. So yeah.
Is there any cost savings for the restaurants, and have you guys been able to like quantify it at all?
I would say because we're parity with their single use, not quite yet. At scale, we hope to be. We hope to be a cheaper option for them. That I think one of our partners has actually told us that it's a cost saving from a waste perspective, because we have to pay for our waste to be sorted as well as hauled, and they had to increase their bin size in the pandemic, and now they've actually converted their in-house containers to our reusables, and they were able to go back down. So
yeah, just wondering, because a lot of restaurants that use compostable packaging have said that it's very expensive. So I'm wondering if this model would be any type of cost savings for those.
We are actually, if it's plant fiber or compostables, we are typically cheaper than that. So it's better for the environment, the material. It's more expensive, and we're significantly more affordable than that, which is great.
Yeah, because we're cost comparable to plastic containers, right, Maya? Yeah.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, the composting system is broken as well. So
it's off the rails.
I just saw some kind of presentation that they want to do a $100,000 study to prove that like certain compostable materials can go with the food waste. Which it's sad that we have to spend so much money to get like scientific, statistics to prove that it's better to protect the planet. But
agreed. Yeah, one of the things that I think part of that education piece is that the container doesn't start when the container doesn't start at your home. There's a lot that goes into producing and manufacturing and shipping those containers. And that's never included in part or considered even in part of that process. It's always kind of like what happens after in the waste stream after, but the upstream is something that we take very seriously, as well as we put into our sustainability metrics. So we do upstream and downstream considerations.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Is there any kind of like strategy that you guys have used in San Fran that like we can use to kind of create awareness and get restaurants to sign on?
I mean, I think for our first few meetings with the Lettuce Entertaining Group, they seem excited. I think that they would be ready to partner with us as soon as we're there. So
yeah, I heard that from them too. So that's good.
Yeah, I would say that I think that we've underestimated how big of a pain point and how much guilt restaurants feel. I think they see it as a necessary evil, but if there is another alternative that is cost parity for what they're using, they are happily shifting over to reusables.
Are they sharing? I mean, they have so many employees. Can they just share the petition and get to the 5,000 signatures?
They probably could. I actually should ask him.
It seems very easy.
Yeah, I should, I should ask him. I was trying not to be too pushy. I know that they've been going through so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
recently that
talked to
it's
us
been
like
a little bit challenging.
yeah, they talked to us the day after they stopped dining.
Yeah.
So he was so nice, and he's like, "We definitely want to work with you guys. We're trying to figure things out." So
Do
hopefully,
you mind if I ask who you spoke with at Lettuce?
do you
Was it
remember his
Richard
name?
Melman? Was it the original?
I
Richard
don't think
Melman?
so. I
Okay.
think it was one of their, it was like, let me see.
After this call, I can try to get the form to my neighbors, but both of them are very looped in with Let Us Entertain You, and they know my passion for environmental initiatives, and they would even be able to just do that, and probably not corporate, overnight, but be able to share it with people they know that they'd be able to help influence the turnout. to get more signatures.
Kevin Trojanowski.
Okay, I'm
I
not
would also
familiar with
say
that name.
If you have any corporate businesses that you think would be interesting for us to talk to, sometimes those contracts take several months, and obviously with the work from home, that might take a little bit longer. So I would love to get those conversations started now. Anyone that has any sustainability goals or has a green team is looking for just unique employee perks that they can feel good about.
Yeah,
We
sorry.
have yeah, go ahead.
I think I missed how you partner with businesses, because my company is really big on sustainability, but is it just offering a discount through the company to the service?
No, they pay for a membership, a monthly membership. And so
For everyone?
yeah, or for a certain percentage of their employees. It's
Okay.
usually for for their lunchtime. It's like a lunchtime membership, but we do collection at the office.
Yeah, it was great because we would partner with restaurants that were very near the office, and then the employees would get the reusable containers, take it back, and they can eat, and then they would just put the reusables in the bins in the offices. So it was so much better, and it was easy, and it just made sense. So
Nice.
And again, we were able to curb so much waste with that amount of employees using our service. So we're looking to kind of hopefully be rolling partially back by next summer. We're starting in Q1 just to figure out some of those logistics with some of the bigger partners, but some of our other partners are looking to start next summer. So again, it's usually something that takes a few months depending on how large the corporation is, but we'd happily talk to anyone if that's of interest.
Yeah, I'll definitely throw it out there. I have some potential investors too. I'll email you guys and we can chat more about that.
Amazing.
awesome.
All right. Any other comments, questions, things before we wrap up?
Well, if you think of anything,
For
please
sure,
feel free to email either me or Christy. We're just so thrilled that so many people are excited about reuse and are passionate about helping our planet. And
Yeah. And that's why, the petition, that's strictly for us so we can show some of the investors, like, look how many people want this. People want this service. So, getting people to sign the petition is really important for us because that'll help us expand.
All right, and just to let the Zero Waste Warriors know, for the week of December 21st and 28th, the meeting will be on Monday at 5:15 p.m. instead of that Thursday, since those are the eves. So, anything else?
Thank you both.
just a note about milk jugs. We actually collect Strauss milk jugs here in the Bay Area. we're also we collect freezer packs in the grocery subscription boxes, and we dishwash and then bring them back. So that's part of our vision, is any company that wants to do reusables, you can put your containers and your items into your dispatch goods bin, and we will process it and get it back to its source.
So you take freezer bags.
The freezer gel packs.
Yeah, I have a ton of those.
Yeah.
Just like storing because
Yeah.
I don't want to throw them out.
Yeah, we're
You
finding
should see my
secondary homes
freezer.
for them. We're selling them back to companies that want to reuse them. Really, I mean, the biggest challenge for a lot of companies is there isn't a method to get them processed and back to them. They're happily reusing them, but they just don't.
Yeah, this would be awesome.
And they're terrible for our waste system.
Yeah, exactly.
So we should be reusing them.
All right, you guys, if there's nothing else, I'm going to end the meeting. So
Nice to meet everyone.
Talk to you guys.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm
Thank
looking
you,
forward to
everybody, for joining.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.